Hey folks, welcome to the Kubernetes SIG Docs meeting. Today is July 8th, 2025. I'm your host today. My name is Ray Lojano. A few boilerplate items before we officially start. This meeting abides by the CNCF Code of Conduct, which means to be kind to each other. This meeting is also being recorded and also uploaded to YouTube as well. So be mindful of there if you want to share your video as well. So before we officially start, I want to welcome any new contributors. So if you're new to this meeting or new to the Kubernetes project in general, please feel free to come off mute and introduce yourself.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, I'm Divya. I'm a early contributor to this is my first meeting regarding the SIG docs. I have had some few contribution before to Minikube and some docs of Minikube too. So excited to be part of the team and make some sensible contributions.
Thanks. Welcome. All right. Any other new contributors who would like to introduce themselves?
Hey, I am Anurag. I started contributing in SIG docs some days ago and I submitted some PR also. So, so this is my first open source community which I joined some days ago. And
Yes.
then we
Welcome,
also
Anurag.
contribute. Okay, thank
Yeah,
you.
hello. Yeah, this is my first contribution and first meeting. So I think I started contributing like 2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks ago. And yeah, this is also my first open source community. I'm being active on. Yeah, thanks.
Welcome. Welcome to new contributors and returning contributors. Last call for any new contributors that want to introduce themselves. Okay, let's move on with today's meeting. Some updates, reminders. We have PR wranglers, and PR wranglers are approvers for SIG docs, and we take a weekly rotation into reviewing pull requests for the Kubernetes/website repository. This week's PR wrangler is Chimeng. Next week's PR wrangler is myself with Anurag, who just introduced themselves here, shadowing. And the following week's PR wrangler is Xander. And if you, there's a link on the agenda as well for the PR wrangler shift. And if you're interested in learning how we wrangle PRs, we can be a PR wrangler shadow. So with Anurag shadowing myself next week, and every approver has their own take on how to review with shadows. Like I set up as a short Zoom call on Monday with Anurag, and go through the process on how I do reviews for start. Usually I do one early in the week, and I'll touch base again, and then during the middle and following at the end of the week. All right, and this week's issue wrangler, someone who triages issues, is myself, and next week is Sriram Venkatesh. So there is a link as well to the issue wrangler schedule. And also, if you want the calendar invites for this meeting and also edit access to the agenda that you're looking at, there is a SIG Docs Google group, and all you need to do is join that Google group, and you'll get the invites. And lastly, for last update, if you notice any code of conduct violations on a GitHub comments or events or in Slack, please reach out to the Kubernetes Code of Conduct Committee. You can do so anonymously via email at conduct@kubernetes.io. All right. First topic on our agenda is the release. Is anyone from the docs release team to give an update? All right, I'll read out the. I'll remove one bot. Sorry about this. And I'll read out the updates. So there's an update for the doc side. So is there anyone from the comms team available to give an update?
Yes, I can start with the comms update. So our current status is green. We have a few things to go through. I'll try to go through them quickly. So for feature blogs, we're doing fine. We're currently tracking 13. If you follow the link, you will see more. And that number will increase because we have a DRA blog that will cover multiple caps. But the real number should be 13 right now. We are close to finalizing the final outreach for feature blog opt-in because the feature blog freeze is this Friday. So we expect to get some more, but not many more. So that's for feature blogs. Then we have the release highlights. We have opened the discussion to get release highlights, and we have reached out to all the SIGs for highlights. In the issue link, you will see links to all the Slack messages reaching out. I have also a message ready to send in chairs and tech leads to give more context about how we need release highlights to start coming in because we have another release with a high number of caps. So I think we are tracking right now around 73 caps. So we anticipate that we will have a long release announcement. And finally, we have mid-cycle blog. We don't have any removals or deprecations in this release. So the blog is completely optional. We could do a sneak peek blog like the example link there, Kubernetes 130, and choose to highlight around 5 caps. But we are still trying to get the list of caps that we want to highlight. So we are still deciding if we are going to rate that or not. And if you have any suggestion to highlight in this potential mid-cycle blog, feel free to reach out to me or in the release comms channel. I think I covered everything.
All right. Thank you, Augustine. Thank you for the updates. I imagine that the dynamic resource allocation feature going to stable will be a good highlight. I'm sure those folks, the contributors behind DRA, will opt that in. As you mentioned, I did see that they will have a blog on DRA.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Any comments or questions for the comms team?
I suggest folks you consider this is not. I don't have a strong opinion, but you've got two options: do one big blog about DRA going stable, or do a post-release article that says, "Hey, it's stable and this is great news," and another one which is like, "Hey, here's how to try some stuff out." It's you're doing exactly right by not having like 8 or whatever blog articles. That's not what readers want. But it's such a big change, stabilizing DRA, that you could easily justify 2 articles.
Mm-hmm.
I hear you, but just to weigh in from like a release team perspective, it's not the comms team's job to write blogs, and it's also not their job to chase down like additional authors. One blog on DRA is all they're responsible for like finding somebody for, in my opinion. It's great if we can get another more detailed one, but that's out of scope for the release team.
Yeah, this is what you can allow, not what you must do. But what I guess the message I want you to, if people from the relevant SIGs say we would like to have 2 and we will make it happen, you don't have to say no. There's nothing that makes you have to say no. You can only have 1. Don't think that.
Oh, I think they have to say no at this point because there are there are deadlines that are getting close to being missed. But like, yeah, in general, like we can have as many blogs as we want. It's like it's whatever. There's nothing in the handbook that indicates that they have to say no, only 1 per cap. But yeah, like 8 would be overkill. But at this point, I don't think that we can start tracking like another blog for the comms team.
Natalie?
Yeah, okay. If that comes up, talk to me. I'm a blog editor. We will figure something out that works and doesn't make work for the release folks.
Yeah, thanks, Tim. I was just about to mention that if we're talking about a post-release blog, I think the blog team is absolutely the right folks who can like help out there as opposed to putting that on a release team for sure.
I kind of see this similar to when PSVs were deprecated and the PSA has replaced them. And not only was there an announcement blog, but there was later on there was a bit of a write up on like a little tutorial on how to use PSA. So I remember folks that were not main contributors to the feature actually wrote that blog. I think like Lockie and Jim wrote that blog, and then Tim might have been an author as well. I forgot. Remember, there are several folks who wrote that kind of follow up blog. I kind of see a similar or trend for DRA since it is such a big feature.
Yeah, we did the same thing with Docker Shim. I wasn't a contributor when I wrote all that content for the Docker Shim deprecation. So like that content is welcome, but it's not the release team's responsibility to track it, is all I'm saying.
All right. Any other comments or suggestions? Moving on to issues and PRs. I have the first two. The first one was the Netlify builds were failing, but has been fixed. In case you had any PRs with any failing Netlify builds, you might have to amend a commit or amend commit or push other commits and to get that rechecked as well. So that was due to a secret or Netlify. They added a scanner to scan for secrets, and one of the code examples we had a TLS cert that was plain text. So a contributor replaced it with a placeholder value. So this was removed here to just replace just a placeholder value. So if you have any PRs that were failing Netlify builds, just amend your commit. That also kind of led to an existing issue as well. This is under the K community about the Netlify access and clean up next steps. This is to kind of keep track, or more than just keep track of who has Netlify access and to document those access levels, but to have a GitOps or stored in Git as well. There was a comment from Ben that it should be under SIG Kate's infra. That's a possibility since it kind of falls in their charter, but Netlify predates SIG Kate's infra. So I will join both Contribex and Kate's infra meetings in the next ones. Just talk about this issue and this. I should move on to the discussion topic. Because of this, we also agree that a Netlify admins group will be added to Slack. So any comments or questions on those?
Yeah, sorry, I do, Ray. I just want to double check. I know that we had a bunch of folks because of some of their PRs failing, those had to be kicked off manually. Are we tracking that, or is that all kind of sorted too?
I don't know if it's all sorted. I did
Okay.
kick off a few
Yeah.
from folks that did ping me, but if you
Right.
don't, if yours hasn't been kicked off, just if you amend your commit and
Sure.
push it back up, then that will kick it off.
Yeah, I think what we'd want to do is put that information somewhere a bit more broader in Slack so that folks who maybe aren't, jumping into, SIG Docs' DMs or ours, would see that info. So I wonder if we can maybe put a message in chairs and tech leads to help triage that.
Okay, will do.
Yeah, cool. Thank you so much. I just know because I had via Ben, for example, he also like asked questions about, hey, are folks still having problems with some of these PRs, and I've let them know that they can amend their commit, or you had manually restarted a couple as you noted in that issue that was commented on. But yeah, I just wanted to at least get some of that comms out a bit more broadly, I think.
Yeah, you can do that.
Cool. Thanks so much.
All right. Any other comments, questions?
I have a thing.
Yeah.
Some people won't know this. This is why I'm bringing it up. The retest command works for most of Kubernetes, but we've never wired it up to Netlify. And if we had it, people could self-service trigger retests, rebuilds. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's something to look at.
I don't see a reason not to.
Yeah.
What we need
I
is
have tried
people
it.
who like writing Go.
Well, I can do it. I just don't like it.
Likewise, Kat.
Yeah. It's quite a project to work in when it's not a language you like.
All right. Any other comments, questions?
I think on that, Tim, we could always bubble that up a bit further across the contributors of the project, and write it as an issue for that if someone wants to jump in and write it.
Actually, yeah, that's a good first issue tag, I think. Because it shouldn't be difficult.
Yeah,
And there's prior art to look at.
I think it's a help wanted because
yeah,
you can't test it very easily. But
I agree on the help
it's
wanted for sure.
borderline, yeah, and that's a good idea. Hey, does anyone like filing issues?
He who brings it up in the meeting
Tim,
files the issue, Super Chief.
Yeah, I am going to suggest if you have the ID, you file the issue.
Okay, I'm going to reopen the issue. That's what I'm going to do.
Okay.
Cool. But yeah, I think like these, I'm totally into, just as a general note for folks on the call and like listening in, for these kind of suggestions, you don't have to, if you're unable to make a meeting and you have interesting ideas like this, totally up for issues just being filed proactively to
That's
be
what we
looked
got
at.
issue wranglers for.
Yeah, exactly. For them to be kind of looked at and possibly triaged. I think that's a cool idea overall.
All right. Any last calls or last call for this issue? All right, moving on to SIAC. You have the next issue or PR.
Yep, it's just a minor rework that I've done with the sidebar. Sorry, to the sidebars in the docs page. Just refactored the code a bit to make it look more like how docs is set up. And yeah, it's just one more step towards syncing up with Doxy v6.
All right. Thank you, SIAC. Any comments or questions for SIAC?
I just want to note for folks who are possibly interested. I mean, we just only submitted it; it's not accepted just yet. But we're hopefully going to broadcast and platform a lot of SIAC's really great work in getting us aligned with upstream Doxy at KubeCon if our maintainer track talk is accepted. So I just want to kind of note that there's hopefully going to be a lot more eyes on this across the community with some of the great work that SIAC has done, and more of the great work to come in like aligning ourselves with upstream Doxy as well. So just want to note that as like something that's really cool, and hopefully I'm crossing my fingers, SIAC, that we get you there in person.
Yo, hell yeah.
I'm hoping so too. Just a side note, the PR has already received a LGTM, so I'm just waiting for an approval. But yeah, I do hope so that I can make it to the event and I don't have to be a hovering face on a projector screen.
Yeah, we will. We're going to have you there regardless if it's a live call in or a video that you've pre-recorded or there in person. We're going to have that your work platformed regardless, and what you all the great stuff you're doing. But yeah, I hope you're there in person. It would be awesome.
All right. Any other comments or questions for SAC? All right. Any other PRs or issues that people want to bring up? Moving on, questions or discussion points. I already talked about the Netlify admins group. We added Slack. I wanted to make a note that we, as Netlify admins, we not only are admins for Kubernetes.io, but there are all the other doc pages. Like I was pinged on an issue for CSI Secret Store that was failing Netlify builds, and so I helped out with that. But it's also not just not for the documentation side as well. So there are other doc sites that's not owned by SIG docs, like Cluster API has one. I think the SIG node has one as well. Gateway API has one as well, and I'm sure Minikube has one, and I'm sure there are others as well that I'm forgetting. So the Netlify admins group will be one way to attract attention to admins who for any contributors that might need help. Any other questions or discussion points that people want to bring up?
There was a request from, hang on, I need to look up who this was. Someone was asking, Matthias Urbanek was asking about getting SIG storage, a DNS entry and a Netlify project for SIG storage, container object storage interface COSI. I've suggested he nudge Kate's infra in SIG docs. Can we do anything to help there?
Yeah, I did see that. So Ben responded to that issue saying that he suggests to wait for that project to go or for it to be live. I'll reach out to Matthias as well to see if he needs anything on the Netlify side to be done. It looks like it's already been done, but I'll go ahead and verify on if there's something else that needs to be done on the Netlify side. But it looks like he already made the request of the DNS entry to point to a site on Netlify. So I'm assuming it's done, but I'll check once again.
Where did he make that request, Ray?
That was on an issue for SIG Kate's infra or Kubernetes/Kates.io is the repo for SIG Kate's infra.
Yep. I asked because just for our own knowledge for next time of similar requests where we can point people to actually, because I agree with you, Ray, we're not the right people to say yes to that request unless there's confirmation from SIG Kate's infra. So I just want to where I see what you're saying here. We should probably have the project live first. Once that's live, this is a small PR to the DNS config in this repo. Great. Okay, so for the future, we want to kind of get people over to Kates.io to file an issue there. Understood. Thank you.
All right. Any other comments or questions or discussion points that people want to bring up? All right. I'm going to stop my share here. I can figure out how to stop recording. Thanks, folks, for those watching online. I'll see you at the next meeting.